And we are live. Lovely. We are live. Let's see who can join us first. Okay, so we've got 1 minute, probably spare, and then we're going to start. Okay, someone is joining us already. Thank you. Please let us know who's in the studio, so to speak. And we're going to begin Wednesday this week. Wednesday, Back to Basics live. Okay. Good morning, Susan. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you're here. So that's wonderful. We've got more people joining us now. Fantastic. Hi, lovely lady. Hi, Charlotte. Hello. Hello. Who else is there? Who else wants to say hello to us? Okay. And Diane. Hello, Diane. So glad you're here. So glad. So we've got more people coming in. So that's wonderful. And okay, so it's back to basics. Again, another session to do with colors. And this one, of course, is very important because obviously, if you joined my first live session on colors, back to basics, obviously, if you remember, you saw me talking about colors in principle, but obviously having an example based on color chart and flowers. Okay, and that was great, and you all liked it, so that's fantastic. But the flowers are like almost the hello, Sandra. Hello, my darling. And yes, Timmy's here as well. So so the flower arrangement was just the top layer. So that's the final sort of layer that we place on a creation. But and it's unless you just place the flowers, it's not the end, right? So we want to bring other bits and pieces into our creations, and that goes for layering. That's one of the examples that you find obviously on our creation. So layering is important. Okay, not everybody likes layering. Okay, a lot of people like to create clean, simple creations, and that's also very good. Okay, we all hello, Shirley. Good morning. Good morning. 3 kisses. Lovely. Thank you. So that's lovely. Okay, so we can do what we want to do, but today is all about layering, and the thing is that layering, I think it's a subject that it's both difficult and easy, right? So it's difficult because there is so many possibilities when we talk about layering, literally tons of it. And we can be here talking about it for hours on end, and that's difficult. There is so many possibilities, but shades, different types of layering, and that goes for from cardstock to, I don't know, a ribbon. But I will talk about the layering in a moment. So it's a difficult subject because it's so long, right? As you can imagine, having so many craft items in our stash, we can literally, spend hours just thinking about it. And we don't want to just think about what we're going to do. We just want to make things, right? So that is why this session here is important because, I will endeavor to simplify things. And hopefully I can achieve that at the end of this live session. So, right. So it's difficult, like I said, too many possibilities, an ocean, okay, of hello, Di. Hello, my darling. Good morning. I am well, thank you. Very well. So, okay. So it's difficult, so I know. And I've said it a few times, but it's also easy. Okay, so let's not panic too much. It's easy because I think we just have to stick to a kind of one principle in in card making, in crafting, and we're talking about cards, let's say, but this rule actually applies to most things in life, I think. Well, if anything, really, if everything, basically. So I think it's the one thing, one word. It's balance. Okay. So these sessions, back to basics. I mean, there is so many different subjects that we can talk about, and hopefully, as we progress into more sessions, we will discover obviously different elements to it. But balance is the one word that I always feel is important, and that goes for everything. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, your lifestyle and cooking and home decor and all sorts. So just to mention a few. But when it comes to card making, balance, yes, is important because obviously what we have to balance something. And in this case, we're balancing colors. So yes, that is easy. And obviously, hopefully I will show you obviously that in a moment. But then I show you some options, obviously, and we do have to remember that layering, in my opinion anyway, layering isn't just about pieces of card. Okay. Good morning, Diane. Good morning. And crafting friends. Good morning. So I'm glad you're all here. So, right, talking about layering. In my opinion, layering isn't just about pieces of card. No. Okay. In my opinion, and I'm here to tell you the way I craft, how I see crafting, how I think crafting, how I sleep crafting. Good morning, Bev. Good morning, my darling. So, in my opinion, layering is anything we bring into our creation. So that goes for, okay, not only, like I mentioned, piece of card, but also layer of die cut elements, right? Floral arrangement is also a layer, right? So, but let's not forget about the very basic layering, like shaky lines, right? That I often use on my creations. Let's not forget about inking. Let's not forget about stamping. Let's not forget about stenciling. So anything that we put on a creation, it's a layering. We're creating, okay, we talk about 3-dimension, okay, effect, but it's also layering. So every layer, no matter what you bring into the mix, it's a form of layering. And that's what we have to remember. So I know I might repeat a few times, but layer is anything. So hello, Evelyn. Hello, my darling. So when we craft, remember, okay, crafting is just anything we put on a card that creates a balance at the end of it. So, okay. So, question for you. When you start to make a card, what do you think about? Do you think, okay, do you focus on the actual arrangement, or do you focus on color, or do you focus on the actual layering, the base of a blank card? So it's a blank card, then a piece of card to bring the color onto it. What is it? Please let me know what you think. What is your concept when you start crafting? What is the main thing that you start your creation with? Let me know in your comment, okay? And we can obviously, that helps me, okay, to carry on with my line of thought, okay, because obviously I want to know how you think, okay? So let me know. And balance layers, stencil, stamping, text, floral embellishments. Right. Okay, Diane, brilliant. But one thing I'm asking about, that one thing, when you start, okay, today you're going to sit down, okay, in your craft room, and you're going to make a birthday card for your friend, right? What is it? What do you choose? Base and color. Okay, Gwen, hello, Gwen, is choosing base and color. Brilliant. Okay, Sandra, I usually start with colors first. Brilliant. So you're deciding the colors. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. And who else? Well, let me know in your comments anyway. All right. So going back to my previous session, back to basics, okay, we were talking about colors that make us happy, right? Okay, and that's important. Right. So I think that is what guides me a lot of the time, definitely. Okay. But so we choose the colors, right? And obviously we know in 95% of the cases that we create, we're going to place a flower on our creation. The general color scheme, yes. Okay. So the general color scheme, for me, colors and layering, Charlotte says. Yeah, exactly. And Diane says either a focal image, then I bring the layers together, or if I have a base, I decide what I will complement it. Exactly. So base and color, Susan, as Susan says. Okay, exactly. Base and color. Right. Okay. So, right. So we all have our routines, right? Okay. We all know how we're making, how we're starting, and so on. Okay. So now, for me personally, okay, I start, number one, with the color, but I also, obviously, as you can imagine, we have so many, for example, floral dyes in a stash that we need to decide what flower. That goes without saying, right? So today I feel in the mood for, I don't know, gardenia flower, let's say. Okay. Right. So we've decided a flower, and that matters because, right, the different size of a flower, okay, combined with the different size of a blank card will also make a difference, right? Okay. Is there not too much? Right? So how many flowers we choose? Okay. So this is the little aspect that we're talking about balancing, really. So we're going to go into obviously layering at the end of it, but the flower. So I choose the flower. So what flower I want to create. Okay. And then obviously I've got the color, I've got the flower, and I actually start from the top. All right, from the top. So I selected my colors. And if you remember from not only from my okay, the back to basics, but also the videos that I created with the bloom flowers and then gardenia flowers, the recent two. All right, I have my stash. I have my stash. So I don't know about you, but I like to have a nice bundle of flowers, okay, already made. It really is helpful because not only you can actually use something last minute, it's ready, but also because you have a color chart, right? So, and I'm not saying that we're going to have all colors made up in our flowers all the time. Charlotte says odd numbers for flowers. Yes, odd numbers are important. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but the stash of my flowers is actually important, and for time, speed, but also visual, right? So we know, okay, that what colors go together. Obviously, if you can go back to my previous videos, obviously, when we talk more about the colors, if you haven't seen them yet, of course. But we know. So I start with my flowers. So the flower choice will give me an idea of, okay, the actual base, right? So I am working top to bottom. Right. So what do you think to that? What do you think? So base first or top first? Now the answer is simple. Okay. Well, either way, as long as we achieve a balance at the end of it, it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. It really what makes it easy for us. That's it, really. So what else can I tell you? I've got a couple of notes in front of me, just in case I will forget. So, right. So I've mentioned this. I mentioned that. Yep. Okay. So, so today I'm going to show you a couple of different versions. I'm going to start with odd one for me. Okay. But I'm going to show you something to do with stamping and then choosing, obviously. Well, not choosing. I've already chosen my flowers. So then we're going to obviously work down from the flowers into our own, right, background creation. That is also a layering effect. Okay, so let me move my camera down, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you in a moment, but let me. Okay, I've got my card here. So. So I have this mount here, and it's 5x7. And I also have this lovely lacy stamp, which basically it's a lovely background. It's a corner stamp. I think it's called corner lace. It's very, very delicate. And basically it's a corner, so you can just use this stamp in opposite corners if you want. But for this demo, for this session, I'm going to create, obviously, a background, right? And even though I've already chosen my flowers, I'm going to come back to it. Let's start with the actual background making. Okay, so I've got the cushy little sponge here, and I'm just going to actually press it down harder. So this is my blue denim ink pad. I'm just going to reverse it. I'm just going to do the opposite corner again. Right, so let's just press it down. There you go. And I'm just going to do the other corner. As much as I can. And I'm just going to focus on stamping this side and a little bit here. Now, you see, I'm not aiming with this stamp for a perfection. I'm aiming for creating my background. And everything will come clear in a moment, because what I am actually going to create is something that is matching my flowers that I've chosen. And that's in a moment. Right, so I have my beautiful denim blue lacy stamp. Okay, and it's lovely. And like I said, I'm not aiming for perfection, because look at this. This one, well, these two are overlapping each other and it's the same at the base. But it's lovely. But to me, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to go for my black ink pad now, and I'm using Versacolor Black. And now, one thing I haven't got handy because I haven't prepared, but my husband can grab it for me. It's a pair of scissors, okay, which I will need in a moment. And we're just going to carry on stamping. Right, so now I'm just going to bring the black, the white ones. All right, so just stamping here. And again, I am not perfectly aligning them either. Right, he can't find them. It's just they're next to blue ones. No. Yeah. Sorry. I have so many pairs of scissors. It's shocking. Okay, so I've got a little bit of black. Now, why am I using black? Black, it's nice, contrasting, but literally when you bring blue and black together, okay, we're creating a layer, right? So now I have layering, right? Would you not agree with me? I have lovely layering. Okay, so now I'm going to obviously rough up the edges of my mount. And we're just going to move on to the next stage. So I'm actually making something in this session because I think layering subject requires that. All right. So okay. So I have my layer. Okay. Now I know that I've chosen these flowers, gardenia flowers actually, for this creation. And again, I will refer you back to my previous videos, even on gardenias, obviously how I sort of change the color of my gardenias slightly and so on. But I do know that on these two gardenias, this one and this one, when you're seeing blue, I used, okay, two blue ink pads, the denim blue and one other, which I can't remember the name now. Okay, but look at what's happening now. Right. So I already can see a massive balance on my creation because now my center on my in my gardenia, okay, it's sort of on the black side. So that is corresponding beautifully with my black stamped lacy but mottled effect. That's my layer. I know that my blue on my gardenia inside this one and outside this one, and actually the cardstock, because this is the midnight blue dotty card, okay, corresponds with my blue. So I have my layering. So if you are a stamper only, let's say, and you're creating your own backgrounds, well, you probably know that obviously it's easy to make, right? Very easy. Now, so I can leave this mount as simple as this, okay? Nice, simple. Or we can add more color to it, right? So as you know, we can use the denim blue, and that would be our coloring yet again. So let me just bring another piece of card, and we're just going to do, okay, I've got my blue here, and then I'm looking for a sponge. Right, okay. That one is not exactly what I want, but never mind. Okay, so let's do a little bit of inking up our edging to create another layer. Okay. So we tackle the corners a little bit more. That's always nice because we're obviously framing something. So, you know, the possibilities that I was talking about is literally something that if we had different stages on every single possibility, you know, that way everything would be nice and clear. But, you know, we know, well, we know that we will never get there. We would never, ever, ever create many layers. Okay, next layers when it comes to every single possibility. And that's the difficult part. Choosing the option and the possibility, that's the difficult thing because which one do you choose? And that's why we are then guided by something else in our choices, literally by what makes us happy. So look at this one now. Now, so if we look at, let me just take it out. If we look even if we look at this mount right now, what I do have, I've got actually loads of layers because the space between, okay, the roughed up edge and the actual stamped layer, it's also a layer. Okay, now the roughed up layer is also, no, the roughed up part is also my layer. The inked up roughed up part is also my layer, okay? And of course, the stamping, right? So that goes without saying. So we've got that. Okay, so now let's do the layering or applying a mount onto a base card. So this is actually the exact same size, so I can do that in a moment. However, let us add a few other bits and pieces or consider a few other bits and pieces. So because this demo is very, very quick, okay, we're just going to do a quick version of something. Now, this is a dotty line. This is also my layer, okay? But this dotty line doesn't have to be this way. Doesn't have to be, because my dotty line can go this way. How about that? Now, if you look at this die, right, obviously this lovely area here, I can very easily, okay, create my weaving effect, which obviously ultimately it's a layering. So I have a piece of textured card in blue, which again, if you look at my flowers, okay, it's complementing my flowers. It's a right shade of blue in order not to clash. So I know that I am creating a balance. Right, so let's do a little weaved effect. Okay. And push it in. Right, so I have my blue. Now, so that's a layer. I'm just going to snip, snip. I'm just going to have that. Right. Okay. So if I place my flower here, my die here, I will most probably lose it, okay? But how about I place it just outside? Now, I know it's 5x7, but we do have different size envelopes, and boxes, so we can actually place this card in a slightly bigger version envelope. But, you know, you can potentially, if you think about it, and let me just grab 8-inch and 7-inch square card. Okay, let's 8-inch. I've got here. There you go. If you placed on top of 8-inch card, okay, you could actually have the white as an actual layer. Right, but I'm going to make it 5x7 with slight edge outside. Okay, so I've got it here, and we're going to start putting everything together because, like I said, this is a quick card just to show you obviously different layering, and I'm just going to place my natural fiber just here. I'm not attaching any glue or you know, at this point, because I know I don't have to, and we know why, because obviously the flower that we're going to place on top will actually stick to our layer. Okay, so let's just start with our beautiful gray script, and I'm just going to place it here. There you go. So as you can see, my dotted lines stuck on. Next, I'm just going to go for the gray. I'm just going to lift it up a bit. Just going to place it here. And the small one, we're just going to pop on this side. Just make sure that is actually the glue doesn't go outside of your main, now the larger layer. Okay, so our flowers are moving, well, going up and obviously creating the sort of bouncy effect. And now onto our leaves. So basically I've got our leaves, which are the leaves pack of 4. All right, I'm just squeezing them in the middle. And like I said, this is just a quick version of a layering, and I'm just gonna go to next bit. Right, so I'm just gonna pop this one just here. I obviously do not want to cover my beautiful effect on this side, obviously my border, if you like. So I'm just gonna pop it there and here. Right, let me just go there. There you go. Just gonna pop this here. I might add a few more leaves in a moment, but before I do that, let me just show you one other thing that you could actually do with our dotted lines. Okay, so obviously we now have a card which is slightly bigger than 5x7. All right, but you can place it on 7-inch square or obviously 8-inch square, as you know. Now, but what I'm going to do actually is curve my dotted line here in here. Right, and look at this Beautiful dimension. Only 3 of them are being curved, right? But that's not everything. What I am going to do with this curve, I'm actually going to bring it inside to my arrangement. So from one layer, which is going to change it slightly, well, I'm talking about the dotty lines layer. There you go. Okay, how about that? Let me show you closer. Right. Let me just, okay, adjust. And we're going to do the same with this one. But as we can see our lines being staggered, I'm just going to literally go slightly bigger with my loop. Okay, just like so. Right, and then we're going to do the same with this one. And this one I'm going to make as short, as short as the first one. There you go. So what do you think about this layering so far, ladies? Let me know. Okay. Now, of course, I think I will go for these two as well, because that way I will create my balance. And then we'll see. And that is fun. Okay. So obviously, if you worked with your PVA glue instead of the hot glue gun, you could obviously take your time playing with your loops, but with the hot glue gun you have to be fast. But you can clearly see now, love, love, love it. Oh, thank you so much. But you can clearly see that our layering is changing, right? So it is changing. So then obviously what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place a little bit of glue here and do the same, and I do the same. But obviously you've got a choice. Do you want to go shorter or do you want to go the same way? Well, obviously I'm staggering, and Susan says it's beautiful and something I would never have thought of doing. Well, thank you for saying that, Susan. Gorgeous. Thank you. Well, thank you. I do appreciate your comments, because you see, now this is something we don't talk about, with regards to dies, that our dies are also layering. Okay, well, that's how I see it. Obviously, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but a layer to me is actually what I am demonstrating now. And look, as I'm obviously talking and trying to do this, I've made a little bit of mess with my glue. But I'm not worried, and I'm going to show you the little blob of glue here. See, I got excited about your comments. Everything you make is so unique. Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you. But you see, this glue here, obviously, if we're careful, we can just quite easily remove and you won't see it. But, even if you made a mess, rather than beautiful, Shirley says, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I can add something else to the equation in a moment. But let me finish this side. So that would be easier if I in my creation. Well, don't forget, it's important to actually curve your dotty lines. It does help. Right, so let's very quickly finish these three. Okay. My flower is in the way. Okay, there you go. There you go. And the last two. So I'm just going to curve this one from this side, and I'm going to spin. Right, there you go. My glue. There you go. So This one is a little bit bigger, but if we want to make it smaller, that's obviously can be done in a moment. I'm talking about the bounce actually. So that's nothing to worry about at all. And the final goes here. Okay, so we've got this, right? Okay, so that's my layering, and I'm just going to show you again. So there you go. All right, there you go. So now I know, and I can clearly see if I want to add a few more green leaves or not. And I'm going to go actually for this leaf because I'm going to pop it just here. Okay, but I'm just going to go slightly lower. And that's it. All right. And the same thing, this one, I will pop just here. So this obviously gives me now nice and clear layer to see what else I can bring into my creation if I wanted to. And I wanted this particular demo to be very quick, so I won't even go into these beautiful dotty folds, but as you can imagine, you can pop them here, you can pop them there, obviously, because I think I want to do something else with you, another demo, so I will leave them for my next one. But one thing at this point that I want to talk about is the fact that I balanced my blues quite well. I hope you agree. Okay, so I have a textured baby blue card here. I have blue, obviously, on my lace, on my border, on my flower, and inside my flower as well. Okay, now I've got my gray. This is a gray dotty card. Okay, and even though we don't have anywhere else this gray on this card, okay, number one, we know that gray goes beautifully well with everything, every color, right? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, we also know that gray is a shade of black, and where are we seeing black? Black we're seeing here, and obviously in the center of my gardenia. Okay, so I think I'm pretty covered, and therefore obviously this is quite well balanced. Okay, so yes, I could bring other things into it if I wanted to, but only one thing that I'm going to bring is, for example, this message from our typewriter messages. And this one says, life is about making memories. Okay, so just very quickly trim the sides. Now, because could please bring it closer to the camera for a close-up look, please? Yes, of course, Charlotte. Of course, have a look. Okay, look at this. Okay. Right. I hope that's okay, but I will obviously show you a few more bits and pieces now. So look, this message is actually quite long, right? So we can actually pop this message inside there if we wanted to. We can actually have this message slightly sticking out, and that depends now how we're going to actually, how are we going to post it, deliver? Okay, are we going to pop it in there on top of the 7-inch square card or 8-inch square card? All depends, right? But for now, I think we just have to do it as it is, and that hopefully already gives you an idea with basically what can be done. Now I'm actually curling my corners a little bit, and that way I'm making my message slightly smaller. But also, I think it's nice. Sometimes it's nice, I think, not to really see the message completely because, well, let's leave something secretive. Okay, so I'm just going to do it just slightly over the edge, and I've just stacked on. If you noticed, literally my glue was only on this edge of my message. And this one, okay, I'm going to leave it as it is, and look at this one now. Okay, a little bounce on top of bounce, and another version of a little bounce as well. So this is one of the versions. Okay, like I said, even if I popped my dotty, Sandra says, wow, what a great card. Love it. I've just ordered the typewriter messages. Oh, Sandra, thank you. Okay, and so we've got obviously a dotty false, and look at this one. Okay, isn't that looking beautiful? So even if I added, okay, another one here. Okay, well, let's just place it as I obviously already placed on my card. I'm actually going to use 2 of them for my base and 1 for the top. Why? Why would I do that? Okay. Well, everything sometimes depends on the visual look, but I actually think that it's because the base always has to be somehow heavier. Okay. The base is literally, the base. So most things obviously should go to the bottom of our creation. However, we always have to look out for that balance, right? Okay, and I've curved it, and that's my card. Right, there you go. So I'm going to leave this one as it is. All right, so once again, I show you. So now this concept, this idea obviously leads me to another point. We all make slightly different well, not slightly different, but what I'm talking about slightly different is because what we put on our cards, okay, how heavy they are, how heavily layered or heavily embellished they are, obviously is different. So yes, different elements make a difference basically, and the number of them makes a huge difference as well. So now if you're talking about something quick, simple, okay, and clean, obviously, but also creative, because you put some work to it, right? So it's fairly simple by my standards, because obviously you know how busy some of my cards are, but okay, it's still some work has gone into it. So so there you go. I hope you like it. So let me just show you from this way again. There you go. This way. Really gorgeous card. Not a color I would use, but it will be now. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Right, there you go. So that actually brings me to a point of grace, because if you remember on the first session, we talked about grace, obviously go beautifully with every color. I mean, pinks, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But, peach and reds and, lilacs and aqua, all kinds, okay? So the gray flower is safe. It really is safe. But, okay, so this one is, let's say, monochrome layering, okay? You remember? Talking about the colors on the first session, monochrome coloring. Lovely card. Thank you, Gwen. Okay, but now we're going to do a little bit more colorful. Okay, so this is where, and we're going to do a different layering. So this is where the concept of layering gets more difficult, but it's easy, right? I'm saying difficult because obviously it's just an ocean of potential. Okay, and that is where, personally, personally, okay, I sometimes when I sit down, I think, okay, I'm going to make this. Okay, and that goes especially with a brand new launches of dice, because I'm looking at my dice, especially brand new. Okay, I'm thinking, oh my God, I can see this. And then the ideas are there's almost too many of them. Just a beautiful card. Thank you, Charlotte. And then you have to choose. You have to choose which option I'm going to go with, because you physically can't, every idea you have in your head to then transfer it into so many different options. It's just not possible. Okay, so I'm going to show you something very quick, and then we're going to move on to the actual second card that I'm going to put together. Right, okay, so I've got 5x7 card again, and I'm going to use the blue again, but I'm not going to mount the card. I'm just going to actually propose certain things to you. So let's say we are choosing a blue again, right? Midnight blue dotty card. From my video tutorial about gardenia, you saw me using the modeling paste. When is your new release due, Anna Marie? Oh, soon. I've got something really exciting to tell you, but not today. You just have to follow me on Facebook or on our next Facebook Live. Okay. Although our next Facebook Live is on Friday, this Friday, with obviously more crafting. But the news will come to you very, very soon. So let's go with the blue again. I know you might think blue, but we're going to use more colors in this concept, right? So, right, I have a blue. And as you can see, my stash is really, really rather big, okay? So what do I do? Okay, now let's talk about simple layering in a sense. So for this one, I've decided to choose this beautiful purple flower. Okay, now I can choose another blue flower if I wanted to, but knowing how many beautiful flowers I have in my stash, I can always change it. But when I decide on my creation, I decide on my flowers. So I can go for the beautiful toffee color as well, don't I? Okay, so let's stick to this color choice for the time being, literally for the time being. And then I'm going to propose something to you. Let me see if I've got everything here. I think so. Because this is a very sort of evolved demoing, right? So I've got a few other bits and pieces ready. Okay, so very quick option. I've got my leaves, and my leaves are very important because they make me happy. Green makes me happy. So I've got my greens here, and I'm going to get them ready, right? But let's just go with this one. Okay, so this is a postcard from our Garden Bloom collection, and it has this beautiful blue, obviously, on each postcard and each tag. So I actually look at these two as a perfect match. Look at this. Perfect, right? So we can go for tags if you wanted to, but this is a card that I won't be putting together. I will be just suggesting things to you, right? So let's say I want to bring this mount into my arrangement, right? And then I'm going to pop, I don't know why, but I'm thinking popping my arrangement on this side. Okay, now look at this. Okay, and this is a very good sort of suggestion because now, do you not think that my arrangement of floral arrangement here is too much with my printed floral arrangement here? Well, what do you think, ladies? Let me know in your comments, because in my opinion, yes, it is. Okay, now that's definitely, in my opinion, doesn't create a balance and is clashing. So I have two options, right? I have two options. I will either bring my flowers here, right? Which, let's have a look at it. Does it not look better? Well, I think it does. Or even so, we can spin it and then bring our arrangement here. Okay, does it look better? In my opinion, that is my best option. Right, but how about this? Okay, so you think, right, okay, hold on a minute, but this pink flower here, it's like, it's an odd one. Where is my layering? Okay, where is my layering? I need more pink or purple rather. Okay, yes, and I think you are right. You're absolutely right. So look at this. I have my waste from die cutting my flowers, and I literally have scraps, as you can see. These are scraps. And even though I can have a larger layer, I'm going to use this one, okay? Just for the demonstration purpose. And I'm just going to bring it here. Okay, I'm going to remove this. Yes, much better. Amanda says, hello, Amanda. Hello, thank you. So look at this, okay? By bringing this color into my arrangement, I've created a balance. Yeah, I hope you can agree with me. So this makes sense, absolute sense. Okay, so at this point, if you think to yourself, well, but that's not enough purple, because really, what are we focusing on? And yeah, it's a good question. At this point, I've got 3 colors on my flowers. Which color am I going to go with? Which one? The toffee, purple or blue, right? And that is a question. Now, it's easier when we have monochrome arrangements, but when we have 3 colors, okay, on our flowers, okay, now it's not so easy, is it? Because we now have to make a decision. Well, it is easy, but what's difficult is that we have to make a decision. So when we're crafting with 3 colors, and when I start with my 3 flowers, okay, I make a decision, I make a choice, okay? Out of 3 possibilities, I choose purple. Even though my blues here are complementing, all right, I make my purple to be the main color that I will see. And therefore, obviously, I can add this one here, and let me do a little tearing. Right. And I have a lovely triangle, and I'm just going to now pop here. Right? Does it make sense? Okay. Is it better? Okay. So in my opinion, one thing that is missing, and I'm just going to tidy up this bit a little bit so it's more purposefully torn. Okay. I know that this bit will be obviously hidden beneath my arrangement, but okay. So this is my main thing. So what do we do next? Okay. Next, we add greens. And in a moment, you will see the transformation, okay? Because the green is just something that, I don't know, just changes everything. All right? And changes everything because green is a happy color. There you go. All right? I cut flowers in 9 colors of dotted to make a flower wheel and saved all the pretty ways too. Brilliant, Diane. Brilliant. Because you see, well, it's a waste. It is our waste, literally. So, okay, we've got so much waste after we finish, I don't know, die cutting, and we die cut almost every day. So, and we craft every day. So basically, we do accumulate, the green makes it pop. Exactly. Okay. So even though this is just a quick demonstration on like choosing colors, green adds life. Exactly. So if I just remove my green, all right, and I just stick it to like this, yeah, it is nice. It is pretty. We've got pretty colors. Okay. But like almost in my mind, something is missing. Okay. So there you go. But look, at this point, and this is just showing you the versions and possibilities and bits and pieces. Okay, because I always have things die cut. Okay, we all have a favorite color combinations, but you know, things, just little things and little something was beeping or buzzing. Okay, certain things obviously uh what was I going to say? Okay, I always have things that are die cut already, things that I know I will definitely deep into, if not today, tomorrow, okay, or the following day. So, and things obviously like these are your layering, okay? So as an argument's sake, all right, let me just bring this here. Okay, and I haven't even inked up anything green or any other color, right? So basically, let's just bring it back together, and I'm going to show you obviously the options, right? And we haven't got the green just yet, but let's just bring different layer to it, okay? Like, okay, the taupe ornate ornate frame, okay? And again, and again, right? Suddenly, oh, let's not forget about the greens. Yeah, so it's a layering, okay? So all of it is layering. Okay, so let me know what you think. I'm going to put it to the side, and then we're just going to crack on with obviously next part, and I've got different colors all together. Hopefully, okay, there is something to think about. Let me know. I'm just going to come back in a moment. The leaves are as important as your flower centers. Well, exactly. I looked at those postcard toppers on Saturday, but didn't know what to do with them. Wish I had bought them then. Yes, they are lovely. And let me just grab my trimmer. Oh, I'll be back. Right. Okay. So these are the postcards that obviously I just used. Okay. And they are brilliant because out of, and just literally, I'm just going to show you a very quick exercise, but very super, super, super quick. So they are die cut, of course, as well. So I'm just going to grab 7-inch square card. And even these elements don't throw away, okay? They work quite nicely, literally as all sorts of things. But, a quick background building, okay? And we're just going to, a quick background building, let's say. All right. Like this, okay? Right? Now, quick background building. Now, I do have actually all of them here, and I've got a lot of blue, a lot of blue. So what color, okay, of my flowers I could bring in that actually, okay, will suit my blue? Obviously, anything to do with grace. Now, if you look, there is quite a few elements which are like on the sort of charcoal side, and I do have charcoal flower, okay? There you go. Right? So we do have, so many possibilities. But don't forget, we're doing another one with slightly different colors. So you still here? Wonderful. Okay. And I am sure I'm forgetting a couple of things. Normally the case. Right. And I will. Is the pack of postcards in a mix of different colors? I don't think it is. I think we've got pink, blue, and lilac, but they all the same principle. Okay, they all the same principle. So, right, a small layer of a lovely Mont Blanc card. And I think I did cut this layer to 15.5 centimeters. Right. I also chosen these 3 flowers. Okay. Reminder, don't forget to order your Mont Blanc card limited stock. Well, yes, thank you, Di. Thank you. Was that a reminder for me, Diane? Oh, that's amazing. That's brilliant. So I have my lovely assistant here. Thank you, Diane. Yes, that's a good point. Don't forget, if you are familiar with our Mont Blanc card and you know the quality and you love it, please check out our website, because literally we have literally handful. If on some sizes, not even well, a lot of them are even sold out, aren't they? I mean, a lot of sizes are gone already, but yes, we've got very little left in stock. So please have a look if you would like to purchase some. Okay, right. So I've chosen my flowers, and I have my brown, yes, brown flower, and I have my peach, and I have my red. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about when similarly to this case, okay, but similarly to our demo, okay, a Facebook live from 2-3 weeks ago, where we have three colors, three different colors. Hold on. Not monochromatic, but three different ones, right? You can clearly see that obviously we've got three different ones. And obviously the layering that I created using our dies complements and creates a balance, because everything is matching. And, I don't want to repeat my line of thinking from 2 weeks ago, but the flowers complement my layer here. Okay, the ribbon complements my flowers here. Okay, the ivory, because this one is actually pink, but the outside of pink is sort of ivory, so that complements my layering here. And because pink and cream or ivory together gives me an idea of a peach, obviously everything plays quite well. And of course we've got the dotty folds as a little complementary thing as well. And here is the same principle. Okay, so we've got the lilac green, obviously flower, but also leaves, and of course leaves in ivory and so on. But this because I know, looking at looking at names and everything, I know that you watched our Facebook live last time. Okay, so let's look at this one here. I've got my flowers, and what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My next idea was to show you slightly different layering again, because, let's be honest, square layering is kind of, it's easy. It's nice, isn't it? But, it's quick, but it's sort of easy. So I thought that on this one, I'm going to actually suggest another form of layering. And I'm going to propose to you that I'm going to use this layering option. Okay, this layering option to you. Right, so this is a scalloped rings die, which I just trimmed ever so slightly to give myself this, scallopy look. And I'm literally going to, pop these to the edge of my card very quickly, just in the middle. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, number one, why not? We will create something quick, but something obviously different. All right, so that's one. I have this one, which is slightly, a part of it is missing, obviously. It doesn't matter, because obviously, as we know, we can always place our arrangement in that area and do other bits and pieces if we wanted to. So I'm very, 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 very quick with this. So I'm not even aligning it just like perfectly or anything. So because I think this could be one of our most artistic layering ways. Okay, so very quickly, I'm looking at my layering here and I'm seeing 2 layers. Well, in colors, but 3 layers in total. Now I have a shape, 1 layer. I have 2 colors, white and something darker. So that's my layering. Right, okay, so now I'm just going to rough up the edges and create something else. And then I promise you, we will use the layering, the square layering, okay, when we decide on color. Well, I like roughing up, as you know, but you don't have to do that, obviously. My next part can be done without roughing up the edges. And of course, my next part is going to be inking up. Right, so let me bring my player. Okay. And I'm going to go for brown, of course. And the reason why I'm going to go for my brown is because my blissful dots have an element of brown, but also because my main flower is brown. And not only that, if you notice, okay, the biggest flower in my choices is the brown, right? So I already know, okay, kind of, okay, what I will be focusing on. So a little bit of brown. Okay. So you see, as we inking up, and we know this is a slightly a mixed media sort of effect, it's lovely. Okay. I don't think you have to be like that precise. Although I'm sure there is many, well, there will be definitely few of you that are perfectionists here, right? Please let me know so I get familiar with the perfectionist in a little room here. Okay, please let me know which one of you ladies is a perfectionist. No? Nobody? Well, that's great. Because perfectionism can be a bit of a burden, really, sometimes. Okay, but okay, that is wonderful. For now, that's what I want. Let me just tidy up my mess and look at this, right? So I have another layer now. So that's my layering. Now I know that obviously this is my peachy flower. And I know that at this point I could also bring, okay, some lovely brownie color to it. So only ever so slightly. Okay, not too much. And definitely don't overpower your flower with obviously the brown, because I want the peach. Not such this as perfectionists. We strive to create the best we can, but we faff along the way. Yes, we do. And the faffing is actually amazing, Diane. I love that. I love the detailed work. And that's what actually is amazing, because it's very joyful. Now, so back to my color choices, right? This is what I have. I have a layer. I do. Okay, but if I wanted to bring, okay, my layer, my arrangement, onto my main card, and let's say would be my 8-inch square card. Okay, let me just bring it here. All right, and you pop it here. Amanda, not a perfectionist, but I shy away from roughing the edges, yet they look so nice. Yes, yes. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like tearing, I know that, but it's good that we are all different. Why not? Right. So when I look at my card as it is now, I just think number one, okay, well, it's how can I best describe this? It's too much white, too much white. I hope you agree with me. So basically, I need to choose what color I'm going to go for with regards to my square layering. And I'm going to propose a few options to you, okay? Because this is what this session is about. So I have my peach, okay? I have my brown, I have my red, and I also have my dots, right? To complement the rest. And now I'm going to put it to you, obviously, as you're watching, which colors we're going to go for. And that would be interesting to see your choices. So let me pop my peach. What do you think? Okay, it's lovely, isn't it? Okay. Now, how much border are we going to give ourselves? Good question, right? It's another question. There's actually quite a lot of questions. Now, so this is my peach. So let me just pop a few greens here so you can see hopefully even better. our creation. Yeah, right. So just pop as we discussed and as we know it, right? So it's a peach, right? So are we going to use one layer? Are we going to use two colorful layers? So let's try red. Okay. Now, do you prefer red or do you prefer peach? Okay. Now let me propose another one to you. Right? Are we going for brown? Right? Which option do you prefer, ladies? Okay. So far, they all look beautiful because they complement, okay, the balance. They create a balance with the flowers. So they, of course, they're going to look good. Okay. And in fact, every single color that I just used here, used in different shade of what you're seeing here, would also complement my floral arrangement. And that's one thing we have to remember. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Which color are we going to go for? And ultimately, how many layers? So are we going to go for one or are we going to go for two? Right. So I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision. And that is what I'm talking about. It's all them choices, all of them. So as I know that I have my brown here, okay, and I also know that I have my beautiful ornate frame here, I will work from here. You know me, I prefer the brown, but they are all lovely. The red would be nice at Christmas too. Exactly. Thank you. So how about I do something like this, right? So again, I'm bringing a layer into my mix, a layer that actually works because it complements the color. I like the red or the peach. They look so different. Okay. Thank you. So I already have this bit here. I prefer brown. Great. You see, this is what I'm talking about, ladies. You can't do the same option unless we're making, I don't know, some sort of invitations that you can, I don't know, play a bit, and you've got 30 of them and they're similar but not exactly the same. Okay, none of us, or I know for fact that it would never happen to me that I would make the same card using them three different versions because I simply don't have, the time. But I don't know. Are you like me? Can you agree with what I'm talking about? So there you go. So I have my ornate frame here, and basically, so as you adding this layer here, why don't we go back and review? Okay. So you see, now suddenly things are changing because if I add my brown here, okay, well, suddenly for some strange reason, I feel the brown is too much brown. And I know we have this layer, and I know that obviously sometimes works against us. Okay. Yeah, look at this. Okay. Right. Okay. And it looks better now, right? Okay. But if I choose to go with this brown here, all right, how much of the brown I'm going to show? Huh? That's another question. Because you like it, I like it, okay? I like it, but not too much. Right. And that's another decision that we have to make. So, okay, we're just gonna literally, and I never measure. When I say I never measure things, I never measure things exactly like with a ruler, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, etc. I just go by eye, and I literally place my mount like so. Okay, let me just tilt it. So again, I'm sure that everybody's got their own ways of trimming. Okay. There you go. I've decided. So now I need to just make sure I've aligned it nicely. All right, here. And this bit is going to be my thing. However, don't forget, you could measure because we can actually measure. So I have 16. Wow, 16. But you see, my trimmer, I have another trimmer, but this trimmer doesn't go, obviously, this way for me to see 16 centimeters, which is why I marked my layer. Okay, now I have my layer. So there you go. I bring this into the mix and it's lovely. And now I'm going to bring into my card and it's lovely. But I think, and don't forget, we making this card or the layering on this card a little bit more in depth. Okay. So look, by roughing my edges, obviously we talk about dimension, but you know, that shade, that little thin line of white is also my layer. And that's how I perceive these things. So, and ultimately, at the end, that's what creates the dimension. Okay, so that's that. That is my mount. Okay. I have my red, I have my peach. And now I could use my peach and it would work. Okay. Look at that. Yeah. Because now I can actually give myself a bigger layer. Yes. Right. So we can just test and bring a dotty one. Yeah. So which one do we prefer? Okay. I prefer the peach personally, although the red would look amazing. But I think Sandra said it would be lovely for Christmas. And you're right. Okay. Okay. It's beautiful. Okay. I mean, it's stunning. This red is beautiful. But just very, very quickly, let me just remove these 3 flowers. And if you watch my video tutorial on gardenias, okay, I created these 3 gardenias. So look at that. Okay. Look at these 3. Okay. Look at them. And because on top of my gardenias, these 3, okay, we have red. We've got like a burgundy. We then have a sort of orangey kind of feel to it as well. Now, by using these 3 flowers, okay, I feel my card would feel less Christmassy. I hope you agree with me. Now, ultimately, let's not forget that we can change our flowers. Why not? Yeah. So we have a peach, which actually goes quite nicely. Okay, then obviously I couldn't have my brown here because obviously it's too big as this flower is bigger. So I would have to change my flower. But each time you keep swapping your flowers, they just work, right? But ultimately, we have to make a decision. Okay, that's it. We have to make a decision. And for this demo purpose, I'm going to stick with the first choice of my flowers. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but they all look amazing. So there you go. So the red looks beautiful. All right. And at this point, I'm going to bring another point to the mix. Okay, so look at this. If I go with the red, I obviously have my peachy flower a little bit neglected, so to speak. So how can I bring more peach into my creation? Well, I feel simply by having anything like liquid pearls, having anything like peachy pearls, okay? Having anything that basically can complement or bring that tiny amount of shading into it. And I'm going to show you one other thing, what else you could do. So bear with me because I'm going to use the red, I'm going to use the peach, okay, and we're going to bring everything together. Okay, so promise. Oh, let me cut the red. And this is again another decision. How much of the red we want to see. All right. I personally wouldn't be too fussy with regards to like a millimeter here, millimeter there. No, I would just literally go with it. So I'm just bringing my 2 layers, as you can see, sitting on top of my red, and I'm just going to make sure. Okay, I think that's good. Right. And the same thing, just like before, I'm going to bring this one here, align it perfectly. All right, and let's mark. There you go. There you go. So, and as I am at it, I'm just going to actually show you something. I'm just going to cut myself a little strip. Okay, and I think I'm good to crack on. Right, so I've made my decision. I started with my flowers, okay, and I'm going to make my way down. Okay, so double-sided tape. I will do this as quickly as possible because oh, my tape. And let me. I'm going to be quick. So, how are you finding our session this morning, ladies? Let me know. Is it insightful? Is it interesting? It's always great to see your comments. I'm using the hot glue gun just for speed, literally. But okay, so now we're going to do the same, placing it on the red paper. Also, one other thing we need to always, remember, but that goes without, that goes with a mood, I think. Excellent. Well, thank you, Gwen. Thank you. Really interesting and very helpful. Well, thank you, Susan. That is wonderful. What was I going to say? Love, love, love these lives. I'm learning so much. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say something and then I've forgotten. Okay. Right. Really helpful. Brilliant. You are a very good teacher. Well, thank you. Thank you. Honestly, that means a lot to me. So, at this point, you are a very good. Okay, the same comment. Okay, so at this point, you see, I'm looking at my layer, very interesting and inspiring, and so much beautiful cards. Thank you, Amanda. You make it look so easy, so many tips, learning so much. That's fab, 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 fab. Okay, so a couple of things I want to mention now. Look, earlier on layering my sort of scalloped card, I showed you that this bit here is a little bit missing, yeah? But I told you, don't worry about it. So that's what I meant. Don't worry about that little imperfection. And that's why I asked how many of you ladies are perfectionists here. Sorry, I'm late. I too love these lives. So thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. So there you go. So that's, well, light of this mount as one gives me many layers altogether. And obviously the dimension. Now, but look, if I just do this, okay, right? And here I know that I didn't go with my double-sided tape too close to the edge. That gives me a room to create something. And what are we going to do with that? Right. So then, obviously, I'm taking my brown layer and I'm lifting in few places. And you don't want to do it all over, okay? But by lifting that tiny element, okay, I have another layer. I have dimension. So I have more dimension. So this is basically the concept of layering. Every little thing we do, okay? It's almost like, I don't know, placing things on our shelves. Okay. Well, if it's just the one book there, it's kind of, well, it's nice. It's simple, clean and simple, but a little bit lonely, right? Okay. So then we add another book, and then we add another little plant, or maybe a little something else to it. And all of a sudden, okay, the shelf is beginning to look more dimensional because it's layered, okay, because it's more interesting. And your eye, by looking at your shelf, actually, I don't know, feels content. There you go. So this is my double-sided tape, and now we're just going to actually bring it into the base card, and then we're going to go for the next stage. So this layering part, okay, it's like the foundation, right? But we can't build a foundation unless we know what we're building. So a bit like with building a house, I suppose, or a shed. Right. There you go. So that's all I have. Okay. I know that I'm not done yet because I'm going to bring my, obviously, layers to my mix. But one thing I did, I placed my imperfect, okay, circle on this side. Honestly, it wouldn't matter on any other side, but I placed it here on purpose. Okay, right, so let me bring everything home, and then we do the little touches. Okay. I've got my natural fiber ready. I'm just going to pop a few of the bits from my ornate frame. And okay, and I think I'm good to go. Right, so only in one place. There you go. Right, so we're placing a fiber. I also have different shade in my leaves. Yeah. Right, so we're just going to use these. These are more earthy shades. And this shade actually comes from wood grain card collection. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well that even though the Blissful Crackle card is so low in stock, we do have some bits left. As always, so inspiring. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you for stopping by. Oh, brilliant. So there you go. So our offer actually is ending this today at noon on a script, Blissful Dots, and Blissful Crackle. But like I said, the Crackle, I think, is almost sold out completely for the time being, of course. Okay, so I've got my arrangement, and I've got it here, and I'm just going to actually bring my flowers first. Okay, right, so I'm just going to place my brown flower just like so. Look, slightly tilted. Okay. Then I'm going to bring my red. And even when I'm bringing my red here, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, obviously, where do I want my red to go? Do I want my red flower to go closer to the red or away from my red? For contrast, I think away from your red, okay? But again, if you placed it closer, it would not be a mistake, not at all, because how can it be a mistake, really? So these little things is just a personal preference that I am talking about. Okay, and let me go back to this little imperfection here. You can't see it, right? You can't see what that was, and well, as if we almost forgotten about it. But I like to mention these things because sometimes, if you're not happy about something perfectly, you may actually throw something away, and there was just no need for it. Okay, so there you go. So look, I have my oh goodness, all our dice are catching and stuff like that. I have my, obviously, main thing here, and now I'm just going to bring my dots as well, my leaves I have, and my ring, etc. And you see, I'm talking about my rings, see, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so with our dice, a lot of them will give you these lovely, delicate, intricate sort of rings, and they are fab, and they're always handy to have because obviously we know, and I know, I can actually bring them into my arrangement even right at the end. Okay, and so many of you, I'm sure, have seen me doing that before, but what I'm talking about is having these things handy. And these rings, yes, they do come from the dotty bubble circles if you have them in stock. Okay, but let me start creating my arrangement. Right, my bit here. Lovely. Wow, the greens. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. One other thing you probably noticed already, that I actually place my glue, okay, on one leaf only. Okay, now there is a logic behind it. There's actually two reasons why I do that. Number one, because in most cases that's enough glue. All my leaves here are secured. Okay, but another reason, okay, is now obviously a lot of them, as you can see, they do come three on this sort of stem, and even though sometimes we can separate them prior to attaching them to our creation, okay, well, afterwards, it's equally possible, isn't it? So if at one point I decide, oh, I've got too many leaves here, I can literally snip one out and that's it. As easy as that, because these two are not attached. There you go. And I thought I mentioned that, not that I am going to remove any of my leaves, but I thought I'd mention it. Okay. So this is already giving me, okay, good look with regards to my arrangement. Now, but if you remember, I did cut a little slither in my beautiful canvas card here. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to curve a little bit from the top. And I'm going to snip this bit. Okay, I actually have a beautiful script here, actually. And these two, so this is a blissful script, this is the canvas salmon. So the matching, basically. And if you had your flower done in one, and obviously anything like this in the other color, that would also be fine. So look, I'm making something, two pretty little delicate things. And I'm just going to give myself another one. Okay. Exactly like so, and just like so. Right, why did I create these? Okay, well, number one, I've created this just to give you an idea, obviously, what can be done. All right, and I'm just now following the same concept with slightly, ever so slightly, okay, shading my edges. Just honestly, tiny, tiny, tiny element. And why did I do that? Why? Because you see, when I mentioned earlier that, okay, I'm going for a red layer, and obviously, somehow well, not that my salmon bloom flower would feel lonely, no, but I want to create this balance. I want to have every color shining through and basically being a part of my creation. So this to this. Okay, right. So at this point, obviously, my loop is too long. Okay, so it's only too long because I allowed it to be too long. But if I snip here and I do the same here, oh, this one just popped. So let me just reattach. So these are your scraps again, even though I actually gave myself a little slither. Right, so as we are doing this, I'm going to pop one right here. And why am I going with the base of my card? Because my flower is at the top. So I want to create that balance, right? Okay, and instead of doing this one exactly the same layer, okay, I can actually bring it here. Okay, right, and if I need to snip a little more, then I will. This one's actually solid. Oh, just about. Just about. Okay, but no, we're going to reattach it. And we're just going to bring it here. Oops. There you go. Right. There you go. Right. So we've got another one. And what do you think to this? Well, let me know, because now I'm going to actually give myself, out of the script one, another one. Just here. And you think, why? Well, because I think it would complement each other. I'm going to actually make this loop a little bit smaller. Right. Smaller, because that way is less impactful, but also because that saves me trimming it again, just like with the last two, right? And I'm just going to bring it close enough, but not too close. There you go. And all of a sudden, I'm happy with the level of color in every single element, right? I am happy. Okay, so now I can proceed with more leaves, and obviously we can bring other bits and pieces to it if we want to. Okay, so let me just bring one here. There you go. Right, this beautiful, oops. I actually have this gardenia one, which is lovely, and this is a single one, the smallest size, and it's beautiful. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to bring this one inside of my red flower. So now we have a lovely synergy between bloom flower and a mini gardenia. But look at that. Now this beautiful mixed media gardenia, it's perfectly matching with my salmon. Okay, so I am getting happier and happier and happier. Okay, so now let's do a few of our dotifals. Okay. There you go. I'm going to bring these two smaller ones into, and I'm staggering them. Love the idea. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it here, right? All right. Is the bloom flower going to come back into stock? Yes, it is, Susan. It is. We obviously just placed an order for our brand new die collection, and also for the out of stock dies. So once we know when the delivery is due, we will obviously put them dies back in stock, and obviously on the pre-order system, as so many of you are familiar with that, because obviously that's what you always do. You pre-order brand new collections, so that's fabulous. But yes, I am super excited. Nice. New year, new dice. Fabulous. Oh, and I can't wait to tell you a really exciting news, but that has to wait as well. All right. Okay. So you can see my obviously double dotty falls. So I'm using the double one, and I'm just looking for another double, but I can't. Oh, there's only a green one. So let me use some of the singles now. Okay. Hopefully you can see what obviously I've been trying to achieve anyway here, and what's the purpose. I mean, literally today I've created, well, not completely, but 3 creations. So, and I'm actually going to be heavy on my arrangement here. There you go. Right, and yes, I could bring a lovely bow and obviously place it here, and probably I will finish, add a few bits and pieces to it after our Facebook Live. But obviously, let's not forget about messages. So obviously, I love our typewriter messages. I do, obviously, but it's nice to have even, okay, very sort of delicate and hardly seen message like the tag. I mean, by simply just placing it here is lovely. Normally, probably I would get a little twine or something like this, but that will just hopefully give you an idea. Let me then just very quickly give you a message, and then we're going to quickly, everything quickly, because we've been live now for an hour and 42 minutes. So I'm sure some of you probably have something to eat, something to do, and you just want to see the end result as quickly as possible. So there you go. So I have my message, and it's obviously lovely. Now, okay, so let's just discuss this. Okay. And I will be mentioning a couple of things as I am going to add my shaky lines. Because, right, I will be talking and doing it, and then you can see for yourself the difference. Now, obviously, I've got my brown in layering, okay? And of course, we have the toffee. I don't know if I can do that, actually. Do the shaky lines and discuss it. So my shades of brown are covered, okay? Brown, okay? They're covered. And the ink pad and the cocoa in my dots, that is kind of covered. They're so delicate and yet visible. Now my orange, well, I say orange, but my salmon, everything Stubbs found them a real life tutorial. Oh, Diane, thank you. Thank you so much. So with regards to my salmon, things I feel are covered as well, because I have my flour, I have my centers, I have my little add-ons, okay, which actually bring everything together. Right, and of course, some of my dotty false sprigs as well. All right, then my red, okay, of course, is covered because I have my flour as a main arrangement, part of a main arrangement, but I also have a touch of that color here in the background. Okay, now, so white obviously is the part of a parcel. The green obviously is just to make us happy. Now, at this point, I will add my shaky lines, but let's not forget, ladies, other things can be added to the mix as well. And that goes for and I don't want to create a super sort of Christmassy card. Absolutely not. And it isn't, because, it's only in our mind that red obviously is either love, Valentine's Day, or Christmas. Well, but red is beautiful, okay? And why not use more red for other occasions and arrangements? So here we are. So I will add a few gems just to been watching whilst working. Shh, sorry, won't say anything. Okay, so right, let me just do my beautiful shaky lines, and they are so easy. And please see the difference. And I'm going to show you close up. And why am I doing this on my white stock as opposed to, okay, the red or the brown or this one? Well, I don't know. I just it's an instinct. It's sort of suppose one particular voice is louder than the other. You see, if we had them options that I was talking about, and we had, so many cards made with different options, then we can compare it. Which one works better? Which one looks better? But even then, it would all be very, well, subjective, isn't it? Because we all have different approach and different feel, different moods every day, and we feel and react to different things differently on a different day. So opinions would differ, and that's what I'm trying to say. So let me just bring this to the mix. Okay, simple layering, but not so simple, because obviously if we count my shaky line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the inking, 6 with my pattern, 7, and that is before we even start thinking flowers and the rest of it. So as long as everything is delicate, and this is what I've always been saying, as long as we know that things don't clash, all right. I need to use a bit of glue, but I'm only going to be super fast adding a few of them. Then as long as we feel we've created this balance, well, that's the most important thing, and that's all it matters. So let me just add one here. I'm just going to put one outside and one here. And you might think, why? But I'm going to say just, okay. Right. So let me show you. Right. I think this morning, that's my favorite word. I always have a favorite word, but today must be right. Okay. Tiny one. Have I done another one? Yeah. Now we're just going to make a large one. And nearly there. Nearly there, ladies. And here. And another one here. Okay. So let me have a look. Well, actually, I'm going to be very, very naughty, and I'm just going to place one here. Naughty, but nice. Because I think this would make a nice little touch as well with a mini gem. Okay. I don't know why I'm whispering, but this is it. So, okay, have a look. Everything you have taught us today has been so helpful. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Susan. Thank you. Oh, my message has not been attached, but is moving. But anyway, I will take a photo of this card later. And of course, it will be on our Facebook. Okay, so let me bring my first card to a mix as well. So these are the two main sort of options, layering options that I wanted to talk about this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, there is so much more that we can talk about. I was really trying to just focus on the layering concept. Difficult, but easy at the same time. Hopefully the easy part is more clear to everybody who stopped by just to sort of, I don't know, learn perhaps something or be inspired by obviously layering idea and concept. So there you go. I will be posting them on Facebook maybe tomorrow. And for now, I will obviously thank you so much for stopping by, for leaving your comments. Don't forget about our little announcements. And hopefully, you will join me on Friday at 7 p.m. So, bye bye for now and take care.